Welcome back. The government, through the Office of the Prime Minister, is hosting the 2023 Africa Public Service Day commemoration at the UNAM Campus, Katima Mulilo, Zambezi Region, from the 24th to the 27th of July 2023. Under the theme, the African Continental Free Trade Area will require a fit purpose for African public administration to succeed. Now, to share more as the day draws closer is Mr. I-Ben Nashandi, the Executive Director in the Office of the Prime Minister. So good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening and good evening, viewers.
Talk to us about what the significance of African Public Service Day is and why it's celebrated.
This day is really significant because it's the day, it culminated from the collaborative effort of our forefathers, the African leaders, who saw the need of really ensuring that the Public Service Day, we recommit ourselves to the values of being a public servant. So through this day, we are really saying we need to ensure that we provide quality services and also innovative services to the public, because we are there to respond to the needs of the public as they arise. And also through this, we need also to ensure that we modernize. Things are changing and we cannot be stuck. And so when we are coming together, we want also to encourage each other to start changing the way of doing things for the better, amongst other things. And also to encourage the public there to say, we are there for you, and therefore you need to be active partners in what we do. So we want active participation of the public, either through suggestions, through feedback, and so forth, so that we are also able to take into account what the public are saying about our services. And also to ensure that we enhance values of transparency, accountability, and ethics in everything that we do. So those are really the reason why we come together, so that we remind ourselves and we also encourage ourselves to say we are there for the people.
Yeah. What measures are being taken, Mr. Nashandi, to enhance the professionalism and efficiency of public servants in Africa?
Yeah, more often people relate professionalism to qualification, but in the sphere of public service, it really goes beyond that. It involves how do we conduct ourselves to the people for whom we are there to serve. That is really very important, because we are there, we are placed to ensure that the person that we serve at least get a positive service, and also he goes back smiling. And therefore it's really important that we institute mechanism within public service that enables us to work better. We have institutionalized what we call customer service charters. These are our commitment as all public servants in all functional areas, where we are committing how we are serving the public. And by so doing, we need to make sure that we have the appropriate tools to do so. We also have the right attitude, we have the right people in position to do so. And then we also expect the public to react, because if we say we are going to give you a service within 10 days and we end up extending it to 12, then we must expect the people to be unhappy with that. And those are really some of the measures. Of course, we have quite a number of reforms, including making people accountable, because we need to test and also measure whether we are living to the expectation of the public.
Right.
And therefore, we have introduced public service management, where we are saying, if we said we are going to build a road this year, the public at the end of the year will measure us against that. And we also need to be able to say we have done it, or if we have not done, what were the constraints that prevented us to do that.
We mentioned earlier that the event will be commemorated under the theme, the African Continental Free Trade will require a fit-for-purpose African public administration to succeed. Just briefly unpack that for us.
Yes, the African Continental Free Trade Area, this is really a framework under our overall AU Agenda 2063. It is really where we want to boost intra-Africa trade. We want Africans to start relating to each other. We want their systems to start talking to each other. It does not augur well if we now start saying, let's do business with Botswana, for example, as a neighboring country. But still access to Botswana becomes very difficult. And that's why we need to, as public servant, what is it that we want to do so that we make a situation easily accessible for all of us to move. And public servants, I think, are at the center of really making the African free trade area to succeed. Because if we start doing things that are incompatible with the rest of the world, where the world is moving, we are stuck. People are modernizing, people are digitalizing their services, and we are still in manual processes. We are still going to be lagging behind. And therefore, it's really necessary that we put the public servants at the center of this African free trade area so that we make things easier. Just recently, we have launched a program where we can go to a neighboring country through a use of IDs. That is really one of the ways. You can get your passport in a record time. You can use your driver's license in neighboring countries. You don't have to go there and apply for emergency travel document. So these are some of the ways that really put the public servant at the center of promoting trade and investment in the African continent.
Fantastic. Before we let you go, your final remarks this evening, sir. Yes,
just to indicate that when we are gathering, we are not only gathering to just talk about the things, but we also want to recognize the effort of public servants, because public servants are always at the center. In the difficulties of the times, they are the ones that are left to extend the services. And we also want to say we really appreciate the sacrifices that you make. And the other aspect that we also want to indicate is that public service does not only entail offices, ministries, and agencies of central government. It really entails all services that are extended to the public. And we have a lot of examples. Even people who are private entities who are contracted by offices, ministries, and agencies, they are in the business of public service, and therefore they need to display the ethos and ethics that we are preaching. Because if we have contracted a private person to extend the service, and what he is doing is contrary to what we are preaching, the effect on the person that we want to serve, who is the sovereign, that Namibian person who has entrusted us with the responsibility to extend this service, he will not be well served.
Right.
So we really want to invite all the public servants, everybody who identify yourself as a public servant. And I say it's not limited to being in a government. It's anybody who is extending. Please come. Let's celebrate. We are going to have a panel discussion on topical issues. We are also going to have some wellness activities. And most importantly, we are also going to have awards in different categories for ministry that have really excelled in extending services and also improving.
That's fantastic. Mr. I-Ben Nashandi, thank you for your time and thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you and very good evening.
We'll be right back after this brief break.